Good morning. Good morning. How are yous? Are we good today? Hi, George. So today we're going to do 3 different colors, and we'll do this one right here. So we'll do 1 color for the outline, and then 2 colors for the inside little lines. I like to choose 2 colors that are kind of the same. Hi, Meg. So one could be just like a lighter color of the other one. So they're a little bit contrasting. And then I like to choose a green that has a little bit of yellow in it for the outside, so that you can tell the difference between the outline and the inside. So let's get started. I'm going to take the outline color first, and we're going to use 3 strands. So you need to separate your threads. And we did that before. So I'll just show you real quick. You can either untwist, pull 3 out, 3 and 3, and just continue. Or some people will take just 1, pull 1 thread out at a time. So you find 1 thread. Come on. Yeah, find 1 thread, hold all the rest of the threads, and just pull that 1 thread out. So whichever way you find is easiest for you. Come on. Then we're just going to thread the needle as usual, put a little knot on the end, and we'll get started. So the outline is going to be in a stem stitch, and it's going to give like a twisted rope kind of look to it. So here we go. Let me zoom in so you can see easy. Here we go. So there we go. For the stem stitch, you're going to come up like usual. Yeah. And we're going to make little stitches, especially around the outside. Where there's a curve. So you're going to pull it through, but not all the way. You want to leave a loop like this. And with stem stitch, we're going to make the same length of stitches, but they're going to be offset like bricks, but all on the same line. I hope that makes sense. So just like bricks are all the same length, instead of doing them like the brick stitch that are next to each other, we're going to put them right on top of each other, and it's going to give this like really nice twisted effect. So keep your loop like that, and you're going to come up right in the middle of where you went down and where you went up, and pull that through. So we're just going to continue doing this. So around the curves, you can make them a little bit shorter, and on the straightaways, you can make them a little bit longer if you want. But really try to make them all the same length. I mean, try, you know. I know that kind of doesn't make sense because I just said you can make them different lengths, but if you have a corner or a curve, you will have to make them a little bit shorter, because otherwise you won't get around the curve. So you can go round and round. all the way to the top. And this way, or this stitch, it makes it look like there's not just one stitch, but all of them are kind of twisted together. So it makes it look like a solid line. So we're going to do the same exact thing all the way up to the point. This is 3 strands. For those of you who joined late. And at the very tip of these, we're going to do it a little bit different. Where's my music? Come on, guys. We'll do a little half stitch here. And down. So there's one line all the way. So if you remember, we started by coming up, yeah? But we can't start by coming up here because we just went down there. If we came up there, then it would undo the stitch that we just made. So all we do is do 1 stitch backwards. So you'll come up here, go down back at the point, leave your loop, come up in the middle, and you're on the road again. Easy peasy, right? So the only thing that's different is the very tip, and the curves. You just have to make your stitches a little bit shorter so that you go all the way around. Do you have any questions so far? I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller here. And then this very last one, I'm just going to tuck up under the very last. Yeah? And then just continue the same outline for all of them. So I'll do maybe one more. I won't do the entire plant this time because it's going to take a little bit longer to fill it in. It's like a little aloe plant or something. Katie Hawkins says, it's so, so cute. I'm still only on day 4 leaf, but I like watching along. Thank goodness you popped them on YouTube. Yes, so YouTube's been giving me some problems lately. I keep uploading them, and a couple times it's been stuck on like processing 95%, which the video goes away. It's like normally when the video is done uploading, it like just disappears. So that tells me that it's finished. But then sometimes when I go back and look, it'll be still processing because I do it on my phone. So you have to have the screen on. You can't use it. You can't touch it. Can't do anything. So yeah, it's weird. I need to take a little bit more care in the uploading just to make sure that they're not. So IGTV only lets you do 10 minutes, and all the videos are longer than 10 minutes. Or else I would definitely do the IGTV ones. Otherwise, I'd have to like every 10 minutes stop. I think other accounts get longer, like if you're verified or if you're like a celebrity or something. But I'm not a celebrity. I'm not even close, mate. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there with that. But you wanna do the outline of all of these, yeah? So I'm gonna flip her over. And what I like about the stem stitch is that on the back, it looks like a back stitch. So it's like nice and neat. I always think that looks really pretty. Okay. So I'm going to take one of the first two colors, and all we're going to do is make some straight lines. So if you've done the last stitch along, this is what we did for the last one as well. And you're just going to do every other color, fill it in with straight lines. And I mean straight lines, they don't have to be a satin stitch. You want them to be a bit jagged. They don't have to look very smooth or anything like that. And the amount of stripes is up to you. So I said this, I knocked it. I said this last time as well. So the way that these are separated, you can either have a couple really wide stripes or you can have a lot of thin stripes. It's up to you. And what I mean by that is they can be either dark green, light green, dark green, light green, dark green, light green, like that. Or you can treat the line as the dark part and the white fabric as the light part, meaning you would have some really little stitches like this. And each one will give you a different kind of look to your plant. So it just depends on how you want to do it. And there's no right or wrong way or anything like that. You can choose how many stripes you want your plant to have. Everyone's will look different. That's the point. So I've just separated my thread. I've got 3 strands. It's a bit long for my liking, if I'm honest, but we'll go with it. It's all right. So I'm going to do it like the first one with some big, wide stripes. And I'm going to do exactly what I said before. So it's the blue is going to be the dark green color and the white of the fabric is going to be this light green color. So here we go. And you're just going to make some straight stitches. They can be different. I like to vary them in lengths so that there's a little bit of like a jaggedy effect to it and they're not just like straight lines. Oh. And when you're done, you just skip to the next part. You obviously want to fill up the whole space so that there's no white peeking through. And then just keep on going. you could use more strands. It will, this thread, man. It will give it a bit more texture, meaning that it'll be kind of more raised up off the fabric. If you want to use more strands, if you use less strands, then you'll have to make more stitches because it won't fill up the space very easily. I've got a knot. Because my thread is too long. So I'll probably just do one of these dogs. I'm just looking at the length of the video. Make sure that it's not like too long for you guys. Oh, there's a big knot on the back. Oh my gosh. So this is what happens when you have too much thread. My thread is too long. But that's okay. We go with it. Okay, so we're almost done with this color. And then we'll just take the next color and do some straight stitches for the whole of that one. Any questions at all? Oh God, please, please, just let me get through. Okay, I think we're good. Carolyn says, what is the difference between straight stitch and satin stitch? So I would say these are straight stitches because I don't want them to look really nice and smooth. And they all have a different jaggedy point. So they kind of give a bit more texture to the piece. Where satin stitch normally is like to fill a specific space and to be like really nice and smooth like satin. I mean, I know some people just would call that a satin stitch because it's still straight stitches that will fill the space. But yeah, I think I use straight stitches to mean when they don't have to be kind of perfect. Like that would be a satin stitch to me, even though we did use straight stitches. They all filled a nice space all in one, meaning that they all kind of started and stopped at the same place. They were all nice and smooth. It's probably just me not wanting to call it a satin stitch because satin stitch kind of implies that it's going to be nice and smooth and like satin, when actually they don't really need to be like that for this plant. Katie says, does knowing roughly how much thread to start with just come with experience? Do you mean the length of the thread? They say, especially in cross stitch, to do the length from your fingertips to your kind of your elbow, so like your forearm. I'm gonna zoom out so I can show you. So they say to do like from here to there, but that's too short for me. So mine right now, I have a tail that's that long almost. And then I have a bit more. So normally when I pull the thread out of the skein, I'll kind of, where's the end? I'll kind of go like 3 lengths maybe. So 1, 2, 3, and then fold it over, and that's kind of like my go-to. But I think you'll feel comfortable with how much thread you feel comfortable with, if that makes sense. Like some people prefer the short ones because they know that they can work with it and manipulate it in a way that is easy for them. Oops. Whereas I know what I can work with, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now we're going to go back and do the darker color and fill in all of the blue spots that I labeled before. And these ones, I'm going to go up through the light color just a little bit. Not a lot. Just a little bit. And you're gonna get this kind of look that makes them all blend together a little bit. Yeah? Looks like I should have put one more light green right there, huh? Hey ho, onwards and upwards. I think a lot of stitching is quite personal. So like the more that not personal like you don't want to tell it because it's a secret, but personal like you'll be comfortable with something and a different stitcher will be completely comfortable with something that's completely different. And there's no right or wrong way per se. There's obviously like a way that you're supposed to do it, you know? Like if you were to go back to like Victorian times or whenever and ask one of those people about stitching, they would say, oh no, there are rules. This is how you're meant to do it. But I think with modern embroidery, I think it's quite important that everyone has their own little way of doing it, and that it's all right if yours is a little bit different, or if you found a way to stitch that kind of is really comfortable for you and makes sense for you. So like I say, some people, they don't knot the end of their thread. They just do it all at the end. That's okay. That's not like hating on that person or those people. It's just they found that that's the way that they like to do it. Go for it. I think that's why oftentimes I'll show a couple different ways to do things, because maybe the first way for you won't work, or maybe you don't feel comfortable doing it that way. So it's good to have options. Like I keep talking about my needle because I lost my favorite needle at the lake. It's totally my fault. But since then, it's like it just doesn't like feel right. So this one's like the closest that I've been able to come to it. But it's just a personal preference. Some people like bigger needles, smaller ones, slimmer ones, fatter ones, longer ones, shorter ones. Just depends. I'm talking about needles, guys, okay? Don't get dirty. Don't even start with me. So here we go. Almost done with this one. I think I'll just do this middle one for right now. I'll let you guys get on with your day. The only thing that you have to remember is just don't keep these straight across. You want them to have a jaggedy, zigzaggy look to them. And that's pretty much it. So you just do the same thing for the other ones. I'm only stopping because I don't want the video to be super long. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Make sure that you're tagging me in your stories so I can repost into my stories. Yeah, so that's all for today. So by the end, you'll have all of them outlined with the yellowy color, green, and then every other one. Again, it doesn't matter how thick or thin your stripy stripes are. You can do it like I did in the middle, or you can do smaller ones like I did for the blue right there. It's really up to you. What was that? I think Jessie's having a nightmare. She's just yelped in her sleep. Okay, well, that's all for me. So I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. She's still making some noises out there. It's quite funny. All right, well, enjoy your day, and I'll talk with you later.